Welcome back to my channel. The coin spot today is best top 2 coins 1. You want to miss where diving into the world of United States coins? Please don't skip this video, so let's get it started. Top 1, the 2004. Canadian 5-cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II, covering its history, design, composition, production details, and collector value in a narrative style. The 2004 Canadian 5-cent coin, a modern nickel with royal legacy. The 2004 Canada 5-cent coin, commonly known as a nickel, is a small yet historically rich piece of Canadian currency. Issued by the Royal Canadian Mint, it represents a period of evolution in Canadian coinage, both in terms of material composition and artistic presentation. It carries the image of Queen Elizabeth II, reflecting the monarchy's presence in Canada's identity, and continues the beloved beaver design on the reverse, a motif symbolic of Canada's natural heritage and colonial history. By 2004, Canada had already adopted a cost-effective and modern coinage strategy. This nickel is part of that transition. It is minted not from pure nickel as older coins were, but from a nickel-plated steel planchette. This composition helped reduce costs and was more environmentally sustainable, while still retaining the durability and aesthetic of older metal compositions. Notably, this coin includes the P mint mark, which identifies the use of plated metal blanks. The P stands for plated and became a standard feature in Canadian circulation coinage, starting in the early 2000s. Obverse, Queen Elizabeth II. The fourth effigy, the obverse of the 2004 5-cent coin, features a mature portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, which had only recently been introduced in 2003. This image was designed by Canadian artist Susanna Blunt, and it marked a significant departure from earlier portraits. Unlike previous renditions, where the Queen wore a crown or tiara, this newer effigy presents Elizabeth without a crown, a more personal and humanized representation of the monarch. She is shown in a right-facing profile with her hair elegantly styled, conveying wisdom and serenity. Around the portrait is the inscription, Elizabeth 2DG Regina, which translates to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen. This inscription is a nod to Canada's constitutional monarchy and its ties to the British crown. This effigy is widely regarded for its modern sensibility. It continued to be used until the Queen's death in 2022, making it the longest standing portrait in Canadian coinage history. The clean design and realistic features helped bridge tradition with contemporary artistic tastes. Reverse. The beaver, an icon of Canada, the reverse design features a beaver sitting on a rock, surrounded by Nazus. Water. The beaver is flanked by 2 maple leaves, and the words 5CENTS are positioned above the animal. Below the rock appears the country's name, Canada, and the date, 2004. This design is the work of George Edward Kruger Gray. Originally introduced in 1937 as part of a redesign of Canadian coinage. The beaver, Canada's national animal, has been a vital symbol since the fur trade era, when it was one of the main commodities driving colonial expansion and commerce. The enduring use of this design on the 5-cent coin for nearly a century reflects the animal's deep significance. In Canadian history, it is one of the most recognized and loved coin motifs in the world composition and specifications. The 2004 nickel is composed of nickel-plated steel, which is made up of a steel core coated with layers of nickel and copper. This change in metal content had begun in the late 1990s and became widespread by 2000. The Royal Canadian Mint introduced this cost-saving measure to address the increasing price of pure nickel. These coins are magnetic, like their earlier nickel-only counterparts. Attribute value: diameter 21.20, thickness 1.76 millimeters approx. Weight 3.95 grams. Edge smooth plain composition steel core with nickel. Plating mint Royal Canadian Mint. Ottawa mintage approx. 132 million mint mark P4 plated steel. The P mark was typically placed beneath the Queen's portrait and distinguishes this coin from earlier pure metal strikes. The use of plated planchettes continued until around 2012, when further changes in materials were introduced. Numismatic and collector interestal, though this coin was minted in large numbers, over 132 million pieces in 2004 alone, it still holds. Interest for collectors, particularly those interested in modern Canadian coinage, mint mark variations, and transitional coin compositions. Because it is a circulation coin, most examples are found in well-used condition, often with scratches, discoloration, or minor dings. These are typically worth face value 5 cents CAD, however. Uncirculated examples, especially those graded MS65 or higher by coin grading services, can sell for between $1 Canadian to $15, depending on luster, strike sharpness, and lack of blemishes. Specimen or proof-like issues may be valued higher, particularly if they come in mint-issued sets or feature unique characteristics, such as frosted fields. This coin does not contain silver or rare alloy variations, so it is not considered rare. Yet for young collectors, or those building a complete Queen Elizabeth II coin collection, it remains an essential and historically meaningful piece. It also stands as a symbol of Canada's evolving coin manufacturing techniques and the longevity of the monarch's reign. Where to find or buy the 2004 5-cent coin is still commonly found in circulation throughout Canada. For collectors looking for higher-grade versions or mint-condition coins, several options exist. Local coin shops often carry bulk Canadian nickels, including those from 2004 online marketplaces like eBay, Etsy, and numismatics lists circulated in uncirculated examples, often in lots or as part of year sets. Coin dealers and numismatic retailers such as Coins Unlimited, Colonial Acres, and Gatewest Coin may offer MS-graded or brilliant uncirculated coins from mint rolls coin shows and numismatic expos in Canada. Also frequently have dealers offering these coins, especially for beginner collectors. Top to the 1979 Canada 5 cents coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II, designed for both numismatic interest and historical understanding. This includes deep background, metal composition, design elements, minting details, collector value, and wear. You might find or purchase these coins today. The 1979 Canadian 5-cent coin. A nickel of transition and tradition, the 1979 Canadian 5-cent coin, commonly called a nickel, is a small yet deeply meaningful piece of Canadian currency that reflects a bridge between traditional coinage practices and subtle modernizations in national minting. Issued during the long reign of Queen Elizabeth II, this coin showcases the second effigy of the monarch. It features the enduring and iconic beaver design, a symbol synonymous with Canada's natural history and fur trade legacy. During the 1970s, Canada was still using pure nickel for its 5-cent coins, which makes these coins heavier and more metallic in feel compared to more recent nickel-plated steel versions. The 1979 issue stands near the end of this pure nickel era, with future years beginning the transition toward different metallic compositions to reduce production costs. Thus, while it may appear like a simple coin, the 1979 nickel reflects the end of one chapter and the beginning of another in Canadian minting history. Obverse design, Queen Elizabeth II's youthful effigy. The obverse front of the coin features a right-facing portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, styled with a tiara. This image was created by Arnold Machin, a British sculptor whose work graced coins across the Commonwealth. Introduced in 1965, this was the second official portrait of Elizabeth II used in Canadian coinage, representing her in early adulthood. Surrounding the portrait are the Latin words Elizabeth II DG Regina, which translates to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen. This phrasing emphasizes the Queen's constitutional role as head of state and carries the monarchical tradition forward in Canada's democratic system, though used since the mid-1960s. The 1979 edition presents a slightly reduced version of the Queen's bust compared to earlier issues. This adjustment allowed for a more balanced design and was part of a broader standardization across coin denominations that occurred in the late 1970s. Reverse design. The beaver symbol of Canada's industrious identity. On the reverse back of the coin is a beaver perched atop a rock, facing left, with its tail stretched behind. The animal is set in a natural scene, with stylized water lines at the base and 2 small maple leaves above the rock. This composition is surrounded by the words 5 cents above the beaver cianada, below the year. 1979 beneath that. This design was originally introduced in 1937 by British artist George Edward Kruger Gray with engraving work by Thomas Shingles, the Royal Canadian Mint's chief engraver at the time. The image of the beaver, a hard-working and resourceful animal, was chosen to symbolize Canadian perseverance, craftsmanship, and the fur trade, which shaped the early economic development of the country. The design has endured for decades because of its visual clarity. National symbolism. In strong resonance with Canadian values' technical specifications, the 1979 5-cent coin holds unique specifications compared to modern-day nickel specification detail. Metal composition 99.9%. Pure nickel weight 4.54 grams diameter. 21.2 thickness. Approximately 1.7 mmage plane smooth. Mint Royal Canadian Mint Ottawa orientation metal. Top mintage approximately 186,295,825 coins. This coin is non-magnetic. Unlike the nickel-plated steel coins that began appearing in the 2000s, its heft and silver-gray luster also distinguish it visually and tactily from later coins. Collectability and value for collectors. While the 1979 Canadian nickel is not rare in circulated condition due to its high mintage, it remains desirable for collectors of pure nickel coins. Elizabeth II portrait era Canadian coin design history common. Market value as of 2025 condition estimated value CAD USD circulated GVF $0.05 $0 10 uncircued 2 ilated MS62 MS63 tilde $3.00 $10 plus error coins, for example mistrikes $25 $200 rare cases. Collectors pay premiums for high-grade examples, especially MS65 or better. Coins with strong luster and no wear and errors, such as those struck on incorrect planchettes, for example mistakenly on a dime blank. Such mint errors are rare and typically appear in certified auctions or private collections. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe our Mind channel for more videos.